So, good morning. Right now I am wearing another hat. I am not representing Timbaktu Collective, but rather I am representing IFOAM, because what I have been asked to do is to give IFOAM's perspective on PGS worldwide. Yeah. So I also think that many people here are not fully conversant about what is PGS and all that. So I will try to put it together. It may be a little long, the presentation. I'll try to make it as short as possible and go through them very fast. So basically, this is all part of the organic guarantee systems. So I'm going to take you through what is PGS as a concept, PGS key elements and features, the PGS development and recent figures that are there worldwide, and what we think are the strengths and weaknesses or challenges of PGSOC, PGS as a system, sorry. So this is the original definition that was set up by IFOAM Organics International in the year 2008, where Matthew was very much part of the setting up of this definition. So basically it is a locally focused quality assurance scheme. This is the important part of it. And these PGSs, they certify producers based on active participation of all the stakeholders. Now this is another very important difference, and are built on the foundation of trust, social networks, and knowledge exchange. So these three elements are very much part of the whole PGS system that we should be aware of. And this is the original group in 2004. Actually, PGS is not something new. PGS predates third-party certification, or TPC, and it's only in 2004 a lot of these people got together. You can see Matthew there on the right corner. They got together in Brazil with another organization called Myla, who had been promoting it very strongly in Brazil. And they got together and then they decided in 2004 that they would try to take PGS forward in all across the world. So the work of IFOAM Organics International basically is a lot of activities that are focused on development of the conceptual framework that was done. The definition was made, key elements and features and guidelines were added, the self-evaluation form was developed, and also the collecting information and compiling relevant publications such as case studies, one global comparative study, and the didactic tools such as PGS didactic videos and other materials. These are the things that Organic International has been doing. So collecting figures is an essential part of our work, as well as managing the global map of the PGS initiatives, as we are the only organization doing that at a global scale. We also offer PGS recognition program, the PGS initiatives for organic agriculture only, and various other activities that we carry out in the form of consultancies and projects. The next one, please. Next one, yeah. So right now we have this PGS committee. This is the new committee that was formed earlier this year. You can see Vishalakshi is part of that. And the idea of this is to assist the development of PGS and provide advice on how to develop and facilitate and encourage the PGSs all over the world. The other thing is that what IFOAM has done is develop toolkits. This PGS toolkit is a set of useful resources that anybody can use. Usually it's developed for the governments, so that there are policy briefs, there are different guidelines, there are case studies and checklists. Then there's the PGS, back please. There's the PGS educational videos, the tailored PGS training. So anywhere, if anybody wants training, then PGS International will come and do the training, and then the work on the PGS map. So that what you see, the PGS guidelines, that's there on the website, and anybody can access that. So the next slide will show you where all the initiatives are, and they are spread all across the world now in over 77 countries, if I am not mistaken. Next, so all these PGSs, they have, this is a guarantee system, and these basically are based on the standards and the verification of conformity, that is the peer review that is done, and then at the end a certificate with a logo. Yeah. So these are some of the certificates that are given as examples, but then there are more than 50 of these certificates all across the world, no, 70 of them across the world that is there. Yeah, next. So now we'll go into the next part, the PGS key elements and features. Next. We must always keep in mind that each PGS initiative is unique, adopted in its specific context in which it operates. So no PGS is same. There is always a difference. It depends on the cultural context, etc. So here you will see that the difference between the third-party certification and the PGS certification, which is very clear. Next, the participatory stakeholder involvement is one of the most important parts of PGS certification. And the next is, it combines all its functions like capacity building, marketing, etc. into this whole system. Without it, then it is not a PGS system. But it also has all this. It is voluntary to professional, it's following general international principles, access mostly to local, regional regulated markets, and often not recognized by the governments. So this is something that we all know, the key elements of, many of you are familiar of the concept of ICS. Many people misunderstand ICS as PGS. ICS is not PGS. ICS is used by third-party certification for the certification system. PGS is by itself a certification that is different. So it's always important to keep in mind that there are these 6 elements on which PGS is based. So I will not go into the details of that because it will become long, but anybody who would like this information, it's all on the website, but I can give you more information if you want. Yeah. So we have the stakeholder participation, which is the key. This makes PGS different from it. And here we talk about the stakeholders not just as the farmers who grow it, but also the consumers who buy this and those who sell the products. So all that together is what we consider the stakeholders. So all of them together participate in the shaping and selection of the standards. Which are the standards they're going to follow, designing the procedures, verifying the processes, have the peer reviews, and then make the decisions, all in a group. This is essential to the whole thing. The objectives of the peer review is what we understand as to know the practices of the producer so that PGS can ensure conformity of all the practices and accompany the producers in the process of improvement of practices. And this is an exchange that goes beyond just simple control, which has to be fully understood. Essentially, the core of the peer review is not only to monitor the implementation of standards, it is the practices of the producers to look at the evidence like an audit in TPC, that is, third-party certification, not even the resulting certification decision after the peer review. The core of the peer review is the learning process. While all these things are there, it is the learning process that becomes extremely important when there is a group together doing the certification. So this is why normally we refer to two types of producers among the members of a PGS. Certified producers and involved producers. This is from the IFOAM language. So the certified producers are those who have been certified, who have been following the process for 3 years and more. The involved producers are these who there is a sum of certified plus those who are in the process of developing their skills. That's how we understand it in IFOAM. Improving their practices in order to have positive assessment and eventual access to PGS certification when they are ready. Yeah. So, oops, I'm sorry, I'm going up. Yeah, so the PGS development and the recent figures, which I should tell you. So we have been conducting 3 biannual and 3 annual surveys, and the result of the latest one was published as a chapter of the World of Organic Agriculture in February 2021. We launched the latest issue, and together with FIBL, FIBL, and during BioFact 2021. Next one to be published is in 2022 February, and if those who are interested, I can give you the website to go to that. Yeah, so you can see that all those parts are where the PGSs are. Database shows that there are 242 PGSs in 78 countries with over 1 million producers, about 1 million certified. Yeah. And here again, this is another, as you can see, the growth that has been happening slowly, but mainly this is operating around the world, and it is increasing. You can see the rapid increase, but basically that is because, especially since 2012, which is related to more investments in projects both in Africa and Asia, as well as broadened awareness of the concept and more interest from governments. So, PGS existed before the third-party certification, as I told you. It developed independently in different parts of the world, like Brazil, New Zealand, France, and also India, and steadily grew from 2004 onwards. This rise in numbers mostly relates to India, by the way, but also other countries are rising, such as Philippines, Thailand in Asia, Brazil, Peru in Latin America, Burkina Faso in South Africa, and South Africa. Sometimes the numbers are more stable. In Europe, most of the certification of PGS are more stable, and in North America as well. So we then look at this. Yeah, these are all the stuff that I told you already. So we look at the strengths and the challenges of PGS now as we see. There are some, I won't go into that, but here, no, so the strengths that we have of PGS, as we understand it, is that it's a quality assurance and certification for small producers. It helps with local market access. The ownership and responsibility is with the producers and the consumers, and it is a learning and community development tool. This is to us one of the most important things, and it favors diversified production systems, and this is extremely important because in third-party certification systems, these individual things like pepper, like monocrops are easier to certify. But when you have more than 4 or 5 crops, like in most smallholder farmer organic farming happens, then the third-party certification finds it very difficult to actually certify. And then this builds the producer-consumer relationship. The challenges we feel that are there, in the next slide please, that are there is that it needs a high degree of dedication and a lot of voluntary engagement. It's a long-term investment in capacity building. It's a complex social organization, and the lack of governmental recognition in some countries is a big challenge and less applicable for long distance and anonymous marketing. Approximately 96 countries with organic regulations are already there, some not fully implemented, and 13 in the process of drafting. 13 countries recognize PGS as a system. And of course, there are many challenges, and to that, for all the challenges presented here, I would like to emphasize the essential role of the local organizations that implement PGS initiatives. This is extremely important. But then there are various services that are linked to PGS as a whole. So the regulations are 15 countries now, sorry, it was not 13, but 15 countries now recognize PGS as a system. Yeah. So I'll end there. There is a declaration that was made recently by the PGS committee in IFOAM. This will be circulated to you so you can read it later. Generally, what is understood is that PGS as a movement is on the rise. There is a lot of struggle between the third-party certifiers and the PGS, and of course PGS is not fully, or in most places not seen as a export mechanism. But then more and more countries are beginning to realize that they have very strong local markets and that PGS is extremely good for that kind of thing. But more important is the consumer-producer relationship. Building that relationship, we see is an extremely important thing in the whole organic movement. Yeah, thank you.